Welcome back, guys, to another Smart Simple Savings. And this is the third video in a series where we are working through and talking about how to book your family vacation at no out-of-pocket expense to you. In the first video, we went through finding coupon codes and all the tips and tricks online to find the cheapest and best deals for whatever that vacation is, and even booking flights by going to the airport. So check that video out. The next one, we talked about the right timing. It was all about timing of when to go, when to book. And so we talked about off season and peak seasons and something called shoulder season. So check that out. And so now that we've found the best deal and got this whole vacation as cheap as we possibly could, now it's time to apply the cash back and the credit card points and miles that we've worked hard for using our credit cards and apply this so this vacation doesn't cost us any money out of pocket. Now, depending on the types of credit card that you have, you may have one that is airline specific. So looking at something like Southwest, Delta, American Airlines, those can kind of lock you in to flying with specific airlines. Now, that's fine if you live in one of their major hubs, like maybe Delta for Atlanta, and you know any flight you fly out of, your home city is going to be with that airlines. But I would rather stick to something like the Capital One Venture or the Chase Sapphire series of cards, or even like the Amex Gold, where you can book with any airlines or even transfer those points to that specific airlines to book your trip, and that just doesn't limit you to a specific airline. Now, with specifically booking a flight, now that we've done some of the things in the first two videos and able to find the cheapest flight, there is one more step when it comes to airlines, because you may have done too good of a job and got that flight so cheap it's better to pay cash or pay with it on one of your credit cards instead of using points or miles, so that we get a max value out of those points and miles. So two things we need to do. We need to know what the kind of average point value of those miles are, and then what is the point value if we applied it to our specific flight. Now, a great place to check out your point valuation is a website called the Points Guy. And so if you go there, he's got a section under tools where you can go look at your point and mile valuations. And he breaks down just about every point mile program, as in how much each point costs. And so the numbers you're going to see on that website, you're looking at pennies. So maybe my Hilton Honors is 0.6 cents per mile. Or I can go look at something like maybe my Capital One and I'm getting like 1.8. My Chase Rewards program, I'm getting something closer to 2 cents per mile. And that's going to help you figure out if you're getting the best value. So what you can do is you go look and see how much that trip or that airline cost in tickets. And so you can take that and you can multiply that times the penny value, and that's going to give you your points, how many points it kind of should cost, and you can help make that decision based off of that math. Or if you go in there and you want to book with points and it says this trip is going to cost this many points, you then turn around, you take those points, multiply it times the point value that you found on his website, and it would kind of tell you kind of in equal dollars what that trip should cost. And that'll tell you whether you're going to get value or not. And then it's just up to you to make a decision. Do I want to save these points? Do I want to put up the cash and maybe use cash back to offset it and save these points and miles for a later trip where I'll get a better value out of each point? But this will give you all the information you need to make the best choice. Now, if you do have a airline or hotel specific credit card like my Hilton Honors, or maybe you have like a specific Delta or Southwest card, you can also go to another tool on his page, which is called the Award versus Cash Calculator. And that's going to help you calculate cash to miles to see if you're getting the best deal. But he does only have airlines and hotel specific cards. He doesn't have like the Chase Ultimate Rewards or the Capital One points system in there. So just an example of this, I went in and put in that my Hilton Honors program, and the hotel I want to stay at is going to charge me 200,000 points. And then it tells you at the bottom that you should pay with cash if your stay is less than $1,200 based off their calculation. So that's a way to just give you all the knowledge you can to make the right choice. And you can find point values on some other websites, and they're going to fluctuate just a little bit. They're not pulling these from the specific program, but I just know that the Points Guy is a good one to go to. He also has an app you can download, and it does have some paid services in there. as well. This is not at all sponsored by them. I just think it's a great utility to have in your quiver to use when you're planning and booking these trips. Now, when it comes to cash back, it's a little simpler. Cash back is cash back. It's a dollar value. It is what it is. So I like having cash back cards to offset even some of the costs that happen on the trip. Even if it's things like meals and things, I'm still going to use my credit cards. That's going to give me the most points for those meals. But then on the back end, I've got cash back ready to give me a statement credit or maybe even transfer straight to my bank account to offset those charges. So once again, that whole trip doesn't cost me anything out of pocket. It's not just the room and the flight, but all your other expenses. If you can budget it correctly, you can do this by allocating your cash back and your points to the best of your ability with all the research you've done. And know that when you get home, you're not going to have this massive credit card bill that you've got to work off because of your expenses on that trip. So finding the best credit cards is just the start to the process. True points and cashback hacking is a multi-step process. It takes a little bit of research, but it is well worth it for the money it saves you on the back end. And then it's going to allow you to take even more trips, and even trips that you never thought you could because of the work you put into and the research. And again, that's why I like having a mix of cashback cards and mile and point cards. And so that can cover all gamuts of the trip. And they all have different categories, and you can piece them together. And if you're interested on which credit cards to use, I've got a few videos out there I can link in the description. Between my favorite hotel cards and even which cards I think are the best for 2023. But if you watch all 3 videos in this series, you put into practice all the steps that we walk through, going from picking the right credit cards to the research pieces I've talked about in these videos, to booking your trip and having that vacation with no out-of-pocket cost to you, and being able to do that year after year. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. If you got some value out of these, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel as I'm going to continue working on. I love planning and booking travel trips and finding the best deals and the best prices. I'm always looking to be a smart, simple saver, and I will see you guys on the next one.